Discover the incredible transformation of Ohio. Exposed stories of resilience and heartwarming community. Ava stood behind the diner's counter, the flickering neon sign casting a glow that rang like a familiar bell in her heart. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the buttery scent of pancakes sizzling on the griddle. It was a symphony of warmth, a reminder of the many mornings spent in this very spot with her father's laughter echoing in the air. Every creak of the wooden floor, every clatter of dishes, whispered tales of the past. She was keeping the legacy alive, a solo act in a play that once held a bustling cast of characters. Just down the street, the factories loomed like dormant giants, their rusting structures hinting at a time when they thrummed with life and purpose. Now they stood silent, shuddered, as the shifting tides of the economy swept away the livelihoods of her neighbors. Today, she noticed fewer familiar faces in her diners once packed with locals. It felt lonely and heavy with the weight of uncertainty. A tightness clenched her chest. She missed the chatter, the laughter, the collective uplift of a community knowing their backs were covered by one another. "Mom, can we get breakfast at home?" Her son Ethan's voice pulled her from her thoughts. He was small for his age, with a mop of messy hair that mirrored his curious spirit. Meanwhile, her daughter Grace was focused on the phone in her hand, her innocent enthusiasm dimmed by societal shadows. "No way. Dad painted this place with love. I'm not ready to let it go yet," Ava replied, her voice as firm as the linoleum underfoot. But as she poured pancakes onto griddles, doubt slinked behind her eyes. Her father's spirit felt fragile, a flickering candle on the verge of being snuffed out. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." With a sense of urgency brewing within her, Ava began organizing community events. The first, a potluck supper, was met with mixed reactions. Some were eager. Others stayed wary, holding on to grievances that simmered just beneath the surface. Yet, as casserole dishes lined the tables and laughter erupted, old ties began to weave anew. Ava watched as hope sparked in tired eyes, an unspoken understanding spreading like butter on warm bread. But a storm was brewing. Rumors of a corporate buyout threatened to swallow her beloved diner whole. Each mention felt like blades tugging at her heart. Whispers of her father's hidden past began to unfurl, casting shadows over the diner's cherished legacy. Now faced with the cold reality of business, the weight of her father's legacy felt heavier than she ever imagined. That fateful evening in the town hall, Ava was met with divided faces, some supportive, others resentful of the diner that had once symbolized home. Standing before them, her chest throbbed with a mix of fear and conviction. Gazing into the eyes of her neighbors, she could see the threads of community she fought to reclaim. "Ava," someone whispered, tension winding through the crowd as the air thickened with anticipation. She let the moment linger. The truth simmered, begging to be shared. Would they understand? Could she bridge their divides? Or would history repeat itself, pulling them further apart? The weight of her choice hung in the air as she prepared to finally unburden her heart. Ava took a breath, steadying herself against the counter's cool metal edge. The weight of her father's legacy weighed heavy, like an anchor threatening to pull her under. She glanced around the room, seeking connection in the faces she recognized. But the uncertainty etched in their expressions reminded her of the fragile balance they all stood upon. "Listen," she finally said, her voice clear and steady. "I know these times are tough. Our town hasn't been the same since the factories closed. But this diner isn't just a business. It's a lifeline. It's our haven where memories are made and shared." Her voice wavered, but she pressed on. "I can't stand by as it's consumed by outsiders who don't care about what we've built here." A murmur threaded through the crowd, a blend of agreement and skepticism. Among the onlookers, she spotted Mr. Thompson, a longtime patron, seated in the back. His hands were calloused from years of labor, but the warmth in his eyes reflected a spark of hope. "You're right, Ava," he spoke up, the wisdom of years evident in his tone. "We can't let the heart of this town die without a fight." A ripple of encouragement echoed through the room. Faces softened, and shoulders relaxed, each of them feeling a little less alone. They began to talk among themselves, voices lifting in shared dreams and fears. Ethan tugged gently at her sleeve, wide-eyed and curious. "Mom, you're brave." Ava turned down to him, his innocence a soothing balm. "Thanks, buddy." She smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude for this moment of connection, juxtaposed against the looming dread of corporate takeover. Motivated by the gathering energy, Ava continued, revealing the truth she had kept bound tightly within. "There's something I've been hiding from you all. Something about my father's past. He didn't just open this diner. He fought to make it a home for you all because this place means everything." As she shared her father's struggles, a single dad navigating loss and hardship to create a sanctuary for their community, the crowd shifted. People began to see not just a diner, but the heartbeats of their lives stitched into every corner. Laughter burst forth as she recounted her father's earnest attempts to master the art of pancakes, adding humor to the weight of her revelation. The warmth of connection enveloped them. Yet, as the atmosphere lightened, a shadow darkened her heart. Would they really rally behind her, or would the whispers of the potential buyout overshadow their growing unity? At that moment, Grace looked up from her phone, finally engaging in the conversation. "Mom, you can't let them take the diner away. We need it." The conviction in her daughter's voice stirred something in Ava, an urgency she hadn't felt before. She nodded decisively, feeling passion and courage ignite within her. "You're right, Grace. We need each other. It's time we stand together and show them what we're made of." The room erupted in renewed enthusiasm, folks starting to stand and contribute ideas for a community rally. Ava couldn't help but feel a spark of hope within her chest, even as a seed of doubt still whispered in the back of her mind. That as night fell and the diner's neon drenched the room in a warm glow, plans began to unfold. They would unite their voices, their stories, and their hearts in a rally against the impending threat. But just as the collective spirit of the room began to swell with unity, a loud crash echoed from the back door. The sound sent a wave of tension through the crowd, everyone turning to see what it was. And in that moment, Ava felt a cold shiver crawl down her spine, as she realized this could change everything. What was lurking in the night? Would it be another blow to their resolve, or perhaps a new ally in their struggle? The night was just beginning, and so was the fight for their home. What lay ahead would determine if they could reclaim their past or if they would be forced to adapt to a new reality. Ava's heart raced as the sound echoed against the diner's walls. It felt as if time stretched, creating a suffocating silence that pressed in on all sides. Faces turned toward the back door, eyes wide with anticipation and fear. "Stay close, Ethan," Ava called out, half turning to grab her son's hand. Her mind raced through possibilities. Was it vandals? A new threat from those who wanted to take away the diner? The door burst open, and a gust of night air rushed in, swirling debris across the floor. But it wasn't an intruder or a vandal that emerged. It was Grace, eyes alight with adrenaline and urgency. "Mom, you won't believe what just happened." The tension in the room shifted. Concern turned to confusion, then curiosity, as people leaned in. "What is it, Grace?" Ava asked, kneeling to meet her daughter at eye level. A glimmer of something fiery sparked within Ava, reigniting her resolve. "I was outside, just checking the trash cans." Grace paused, her breath coming in quick spurts, "and I saw them, the developers. They're looking at the diner. But they're not alone, they've got a whole crew with them." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "You mean they've come to scout the place?" Mr. Thompson grumbled, his brow furrowing. "We need to act fast." "Yes," Grace agreed, nodding vigorously. "I overheard one of them say they're planning to offer a sum and push everyone out." Panic stirred once more, but Ava straightened. "This could be our moment." Her voice rang clear, slicing through the dread like a beacon. We can turn this threat into a rallying cry. The crowd shifted again, the embers of hope being fanned into flames. Let us not just sit back and let them decide our fate. We need to show them that this diner is worth more than their offers. It's worth fighting for. With newfound energy surging through her, Ava began to formulate a plan. We hold that rally tomorrow, and we gather as many people as we can. We share our stories, our memories. We remind everyone what this diner means, what this town means. Grace chimed in, like a community collage of our best memories here. Exactly. Ava echoed, her heart soaring at her daughter's enthusiasm. Let us decorate the diner, put up pictures, tell our stories. We can make a sign out front. Let them see who we are and what we stand for. Excited murmurs broke out, voices linking together. Ideas flew between them like fireflies illuminating the night. As the din of inspiration built, Ava couldn't shake the feeling of unease that still gripped the edges of her heart. Despite the support swelling around her, she could feel the weight of the developers' intentions like a dark cloud hovering just beyond the horizon. The door swung open again, and this time it was Mr. Thompson, looking more serious than ever. I think we should contact the local news. If they're making plans, we need to get this out there. We can't let them decide this for us. Ava nodded, her mind racing. Yes. We need to fuel the fire. We need to make our voices heard not just in our town, but beyond it. The night stretched long, filled with laughter and conversation as they all brainstormed next steps. Ava watched as friendship strengthened, and the energy in the diner vibrated with passion that hadn't been felt in a long time. But even amidst the excitement, a darker thought loomed. What if the developers were actually closer than they thought, more entrenched in their town than they realized? As the last of the group trickled out, she held the door for Ethan, who was deep in thought. Mom, what if they have another plan? Something we don't expect? His words hung in the air, planting another seed of doubt in Ava's mind. Tomorrow was just the beginning, and while hope filled her chest, unease threaded through it. Would their plans be enough, or was this just the calm before the storm? The rally might solidify their fight, but what if it brought far more trouble than they could anticipate? As they stepped outside into the night that enveloped them, Ava locked eyes with her daughter, feeling the uncharted road ahead looming before them. One thing she knew for sure: they were ready for whatever came next. The sun rose the next day, painting the sky with strokes of orange and pink as Ava stood behind the diner counter, staring out at the still, sleepy streets. It was a new day, but her heart was heavy with anxiety. Today was the rally, the moment they'd all come together to fight for their diner. Ethan was rummaging through a box of decorations from the attic. "Look, Mom, this old sign from last year's fair," he yelled, pulling out a colorful banner that read, "Welcome to our community." Ava smiled, taking a moment to appreciate the innocence in her son's voice. Perfect. It's exactly what we need. She could already hear the buzzing atmosphere in her mind, the laughter, the shared stories. But the nagging fear crept back in. What if it wasn't enough? As people trickled in, each carrying articles and memories to hang up, the diner felt alive in a way it hadn't for years. There was laughter mixed with nervous chatter. Grace was busy making colorful posters while Mr. Thompson, always the steadfast presence, organized chairs outside for the gathering. "People are coming," he said, his eyes scanning the crowd outside. Word's getting around. Ava felt a spark of pride swell in her chest, but it flickered just as fast when she noticed a few unfamiliar faces lurking near the diner, watching intently. Her heart raced. Were they the developers? "Stay close, Ethan," she called again, moving to grab her son's hand. She didn't want him to feel her anxiety, but it seeped out anyway. "Who are they, Mom?" he asked, glancing over. "I don't know, buddy. Let us just focus on us today, okay?" But as the crowd grew, so did her worries. They shared stories, tales of first dates, family dinners, and community meetings. Each memory was like a brick, building up the walls of their resolve. Ava felt the edges of her fear soften with every laugh, every shared moment. Then came the moment of truth. Standing in front of everyone, Ava cleared her throat, feeling the swell of emotions crash inside her. Thank you all for being here. Today, we remind everyone what this diner means to us, to this community. It's not just bricks and mortar. It's the heart of our town. Cheers erupted. But just then, the door swung open with a creak. Heads turned, eyes darting toward the entrance. The developers walked in, a confident group, wearing smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes. Ava's stomach dropped as she recognized the glint of their intentions. Ah, perfect timing, their leader said, clasping his hands together. We were hoping to have a chat with you about the future of this place. Silence enveloped the room like a heavy blanket, the joy of the rally dimming in an instant. Ava's heart thundered in her chest. What do you mean? She asked, trying to steady her voice, but it quivered instead. Just wanted everyone to know the offers we're prepared to make. He continued, casually strolling toward the crowd. But we wouldn't want to disturb your gathering. Ava took a step forward. We're not interested in offers. This is our home, our history. He smirked, unfazed. Home? That's a charming idea. But home can be bought. A chill ran through the crowd. Whispers floated, igniting uncertainty. Ava's heart raced with fear, but also with defiance. We will not let you take this from us. The tension was palpable. The rally that was supposed to unify them suddenly felt like it was on the brink of rupture. Would their resistance be met with brute force? As the developers exchanged amused glances, Ava could feel the crowd's energy teetering. What would it take to truly stand against them? Could they bind together strong enough to face these looming threats? There it was, the pivotal moment. Ava would have to summon every ounce of strength she had for what was about to unfold. Would courage rise from despair, or would the diner's legacy be swept away? The rally had become not just a gathering of memories, but a front line of a battle that had just begun. The future loomed ominously ahead, and Ava was determined to fight. But would they truly be ready for what was coming next? Ava felt her pulse quicken as she locked eyes with the lead developer. His confidence was unsettling, like he was used to getting his way. She could sense the crowd's unease swelling. This wasn't just about the diner anymore. It was about standing up against something much larger than themselves. Now, he said, raising a hand as if trying to calm them. I assure you, we're not here to ruin anything. We just want to make an offer that would benefit everyone. Ava interrupted, her voice sharper than she intended. What's happening to this diner if you get your way? You're talking about profits and numbers, not people and memories. The crowd murmured in agreement. But then the developer smiled as if he found amusement in her defiance. You're being naive. This place can't survive the way it is. We want to bring it into the future. Imagine a modern cafe, a space that attracts more business? What about community? Someone shouted from the back, and Ava felt a wave of hope rush through her. We love this diner the way it is. Ava's heart swelled at the collective realization. They were a community, intertwined in their love for this place. Memories floated to the surface. Her first job serving burgers, Ethan's birthday parties with balloons and laughter, the countless moments shared over coffee and pie. The developer shifted on his heels, and that smile slipped a fraction. You all talk about memories, he responded, his voice rising slightly. Memories don't pay the bills. Every penny spent here supports our town. Ava shot back. It's not about lining some corporate pockets. It's about heart. She could feel the momentum building. Grace stepped up beside her, fists clenched, emboldened by the courage radiating from Ava. Together we can make a change. We won't let them take this from us. The rally morphed into a storm of voices, people sharing stories of their connections to the diner, their gatherings, their lives. Mr. Thompson, with his years of wisdom, started passing around a petition, urging everyone to sign. The developers exchanged glances, annoyance creeping into their expressions. They hadn't anticipated this uprising, this fierce loyalty. Each signature was like a stitch, weaving their thin, frayed hopes into something solid and unbreakable. As the shaky, handwritten petition circulated, Ava felt a surge of energy flowing through her. This isn't just about us. It's about the generations to come. We want our kids to have a place where they belong, where they can make their own memories. Nods and murmurs of agreement echoed around her. Ava glanced down at Ethan. He was watching, fierce determination lighting up his face. The realization that this fight wasn't just hers, this was for him. For all of them settled in her heart. But the developers, now clearly losing their cool, lurked at the edges, faces grim. We can just as easily work through legal channels, their leader warned, a new edge to his tone. You're making a mistake standing against progress. Ava squared her shoulders. And you're making a mistake underestimating our resolve. The tension balled up like a thunderhead, ready to burst. They had ignited a spark, but would it carry them through the storm? Would their courage, their collective spirit, be enough to fend off the cold winds of change? Just then, Ethan tugged at her sleeve, his small voice cutting through the chaos. Mom, do you think we can really win? Ava looked down into his hopeful eyes, feeling the fire within her rekindle. I don't know, buddy, but we're going to try our hardest. The protest was on, and the diner's fate hinged precariously in their hands. Outside, the sky darkened with impending rain, an omen or perhaps a cleansing chance. Would their actions be enough to keep their love and history alive, or was the storm just beginning? The moment pressed on them, as heavy as the air thick with uncertainty. Ava felt her heart racing as she faced the lead developer again. His earlier smirk was gone, replaced now by annoyance. The tension in the air was palpable. Each second felt like a small eternity as the crowd rallied around her, voices growing louder, more insistent. Listen, he said, trying to regain control of the situation. You're appealing to emotions. But when it comes down to it, it's about progress and opportunity. Opportunity for who? Ava shot back, her voice steady but filled with passion. For you and your investors. We're the ones who have made this diner a home. Don't you see that? Mr. Thompson stepped forward, his presence commanding. This diner isn't just a building. It's a lifeline for many of us. Our children play here. We share birthdays, anniversaries, and even heartbreaks. This is a place of connection. Come on, folks. Grace yelled, her fists raised. We need to show them we're more than just numbers. This is our life. They can't just come in and take it. The crowd erupted with cheers, and Ava felt a surge of warmth wash over her. They were standing together, not just as customers but as a family united by their shared love for the diner. She felt Ethan's small hand clutching her own, his grip reassuring. The petition, Mr. Thompson added, waving the paper that had so many signatures. This proves we're passionate. We won't back down. The developer's face twisted in frustration as he scanned the crowd. You think this will stop us? There are processes in place. We have lawyers. We can write the rules to our advantage. A murmur of disbelief rippled through the crowd, but Ava raised her chin and countered. And we have each other. You might have money and power, but we have heart, and that's something you can't measure. Just then, raindrops began to fall, first soft, then harder, creating a rhythm that matched the beating of their hearts. The crowd shifted, some raising their hands to shield themselves, but others remained grounded, undeterred by the rain. This is it. It's time to fight for our home. Ava shouted, her voice rising above the sound of the rain. Show them that we won't stand by and let them take our diner. With every word, she felt their resolve growing. With the rain pouring down, there was a sense of cleansing, a washing away of doubts. The storm outside matched the battle within them. Mom, it's really coming down, Ethan exclaimed, laughter breaking through the tension. His joy was infectious, and it made those around them smile despite the severity of their circumstances. The developer waved his hand dismissively and took a step back, seemingly recognizing the futility of his approach. You'll see. You can't hold back progress forever. But Ava's conviction was unwavering. We will fight you with everything we have. As the rain drummed down heavier, so did her thoughts. Would the storm wear them down, or would they emerge stronger? The hope inside her collided with fear, and she cast her gaze around the crowd. They were soaking wet but standing firm, faces set with determination. Ethan tugged at her again, looking up with wide eyes. What if they do take it? What if we lose? She knelt beside him, cupping his face in her hands. We'll never give up, Ethan. Not while we have each other. This diner means too much, and as long as we fight together, there's a chance. As they stood together in the downpour, Ava felt a surge of empowerment. This was not just a fight for a diner. This was a fight for their community, their memories, a place for generations to come. But as the developer retreated to his group, a shadow of doubt flickered within the pit of her stomach. What would he do next? The storm was only just beginning, both outside and in their lives. Ava glanced at the darkening clouds and felt the weight of the unknown pressing down harder. This wasn't just about the diner anymore. It was about everything that came after what would become of their fight for a future. Ava took a deep breath, letting the cool rain splash against her face wash away her doubts, if only for a moment. The passion igniting the crowd filled her with adrenaline, and she refused to let fear take hold. We're not just patrons, she shouted, looking each person in the eye. We're a family, built on the memories we've shared right here. And we will rise to protect it. People raised their hands, clapping in rhythm with her words. Each clap resonated like a heartbeat strong and alive. The voices swelled as they echoed her sentiment, voices blending into a powerful chorus that drowned out the developer's retorts. There was something electric in the air. Ava could feel it. Ethan, still gripping her hand, started to bounce on his heels. Mom, look! He pointed toward the back of the crowd where more people began to filter in, umbrellas clutched in tight fists. The sight of more friends and neighbors bolstered their numbers and their spirit. It was like a beacon breaking through the storm. Exactly, Ava cried out, nodding toward the newcomers. They know what's at stake. This place means something to all of us. She turned back to the developer, the rain mixing with the newfound fire in her belly. This diner has history, stories, laughter, things you can't just bulldoze away. We're not about to let you erase all of that. The developer's face paled as he surveyed the growing crowd. Ava's heart raced at the sight of solidarity in people's eyes. These were not just faces she recognized. They were whispers of her childhood, echoes of laughter that painted her past. But the shadows of doubt crept back in as she recalled the weight of his experience. He had armies of attorneys and power-hungry investors, ready to do whatever was necessary for profit. Would this show of unity really be enough? Mom, I'm scared, Ethan whispered, his eyes wide with uncertainty. She knelt down, catching the anxiety in his gaze. I am too, buddy, but fear can go one of two ways. It can pull you down, or it can make you stronger. We're going to choose strength. Together. As Ava stood back up, an unexpected gust of wind tousled her hair, catching everyone off guard. With the rain flowing in sheets, there was an unexpected exhilaration in the air, a sense of being alive, ready to take on anything that dared challenge them. Suddenly, in the midst of the chaos, Mr. Thompson took the lead again, shouting for a human chain. Let us show them what real community looks like, he called. People surged forward, linking arms, a vivid display of solidarity shimmering against the backdrop of the storm. Ava smiled at the sight. This was more than mere words. It was action, yet, in the pit of her stomach, a thought nagged her. Would this be enough? Would the voices echo loud enough for those who only heard dollars and cents? As the storm raged around them, so did the war inside Ava's heart. With the rain cascading like a curtain, her mind danced with possibilities and outcomes. Each face around her told a story, but she couldn't shake the looming reality that the fight was just beginning. Where would their resolve lead them? What lengths would they go to protect their home? Her gaze drifted back to the developer, who stood far away, a scowl etched on his face. His chilling demeanor eased her nerves a bit. Would he truly underestimate the unity of their community? And then, as if the universe conspired to test them further, deep rumblings of thunder joined in the fray, shaking the earth beneath their feet. Ava's heart pounded even louder as she wondered if she could face the storm or if it would consume them all. Just as the first flicker of lightning arched across the sky, Ava's thoughts sharply focused. When would they need to take drastic action? What would it mean for them, her, Ethan, and everyone who stood beside her? As the rain surged and the people around her shouted in defiance, she realized this was more than just a fight against an elusive corporation. It was a fight for their very identity. And in that moment, Ava knew deep in her gut that the real test was just around the corner. Would they have the strength to weather not only the storm but the trials that were brewing beneath the surface? The challenge was only just beginning. As the rain fell heavier, Ava felt the world around her sharpen, moments stretching like the lightning that illuminated the stormy sky. Her heart raced as she surveyed the crowd. Determination etched on every face. They were ready to fight. Was she? The thunder rumbled again, almost like an echo of their shared resolve. Each clap of thunder matched the pounding of her heart, a steady tempo that seemed to synchronize with the pulse of the crowd. They were listening to her, and she could feel their energy rising like the tide. All those years of laughter, love, and heartbreaking moments hung in the air, binding them together in this shared storm. Ethan tugged at her hand. "Mom, what if it doesn't work?" His voice was soft but laced with worry. She knelt before him again, close enough to see the flecks of silver in his eyes. "Then we fight longer. We don't give up." Her voice trembled, not from uncertainty, but from a fierce conviction that wanted to break free. Around her, Mr. Thompson was rallying more residents, urging them to speak out, share their stories, and take their place in the chain that wove through the crowd. "Let us show everyone what home means to us," he shouted, his voice full of fervor. The sound rippled through them, igniting a wave of responses one by one. People began to speak about why their diner, mattered. A woman recalled the birthday parties her children had celebrated there, the way the jukebox always played their favorite songs. A man stood tall, recounting the advice and friendship he received from old Joe, the diner's beloved owner, over countless cups of coffee. Each story crafted a connection stronger than any boardroom negotiation could ever replicate. Ava watched, tears forming as she felt those stories weave a tapestry of hope amidst chaos. They weren't just memories. They were commitments to their community. Yet somewhere in the back of her mind, doubt flickered. The developer certainly wouldn't be swayed by nostalgia alone. What if he pushed back harder? What if they lost? She shook her head, forcing that fear to the sidelines. Just as the crowd's energy surged, Ava felt something shift within her. She was part of something so much bigger than herself. This wasn't merely about saving a diner. It was a fight to keep their shared history alive, to honor the struggles of those who came before them, and to create a future for their children. Ethan most of all that as the winds picked up, gusting through the crowd, the unity among them felt like a shield. They were claiming their space, letting the world know they wouldn't be silenced. They were ready to fight for what mattered. Then came a voice, strong and commanding, more empowering than anything yet. It was old Mrs. Delaney, who owned the sweet shop down the street. "I've seen this community stand together before, and I know we have it in us to do it again." The roar of the crowd felt like the earth responding, shaking beneath the weight of their collective spirit. Ava felt the hairs on her arms stand. Could this really be enough? In that pivotal moment, a truck rolled up to the diner, emblazoned with the developer's logo. The crowd's chants softened, eyes darting towards the powerful intruder. The developer stepped out, arrogance etched on his face, clipboard in hand. A chill gripped Ava's heart. She took a breath. "What now?" Ethan asked, his grip tightening on her hand. "I don't know, but we're not backing down." The thunder roared again, a loudspeaker for their resolve. They wouldn't go gentle into that dark night. But would their determination stand strong against the storm brewing on the horizon? As the developer smirked, a familiar dread crept in. Would the heart of their community withstand this test? Ava felt the weight of countless stories resting on her shoulders, and a fire ignited within. What would the storm reveal? Ava's gaze locked onto the developer as he approached, his confident stride a stark contrast to the anxiety swirling in the air. The crowd instinctively tightened around her, forming a barrier of warmth and solidarity, but the unease lingered like a dark cloud overhead. Ethan's grip was reassuring yet heavy, grounding her as she faced the man who threatened everything. The developer glanced at the crowd with dismissive disdain. You all need to understand the reality here, he began, his voice smooth and condescending. This diner is just a relic of the past. Progress can't be held back by nostalgia. A wave of murmurs erupted among the crowd, a collective disbelief that immediately cut through the tension. Ava felt the surge of anger rise within her. How could he trivialize their home so easily? Progress is a skyscraper over memories. Is it? Ava shouted, stepping forward, heart racing. Those memories are what shape us. They remind us who we are. Her voice echoed, carrying the weight of all the stories shared moments before. Cheers erupted, filling the air as more people began to step forward, emboldened by her words. Old Mrs. Delaney stood up again. You think a shiny building will replace the laughter of children or the warmth of friends gathered around a table? You are mistaken. The developer's smirk faded slightly, replaced by furrowed brows of annoyance as he glanced at the clipboard in his hands. He wasn't prepared for this reaction, and for the first time he looked unsure. Every brick of this diner holds memories, a young man added, his voice steady, rising above the noise. It symbolizes our struggles and our triumphs. It's more than just a place to eat. It's a community center, a refuge. The crowd roared again, fists raised and faces alight with determination. Ava's heart soared. The storm had transformed into something else, a force of passion behind their voices, a banner of unity. In response, the developer squared his shoulders, trying to regain control. Nostalgia won't pay the bills. I'm here to make a profit and you all can't stop that, he retorted, but the certainty in his tone was wavering. Ava could see the tiny cracks forming in his armor. The more they showcased their bonds, the more his steely demeanor cracked. She realized it wasn't about winning an argument. It was about showing the world that they mattered. Just then, thunder rumbled louder than before, drowning out the developer's voice. Rain fell in sheets, cascading relentlessly, but no one even flinched. They were driven, fortified by that primal instinct to protect their home. Ethan looked up at Ava, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and admiration. Mom, what if he calls the police? Her fingers tightened around his hand, forcing a smile that felt foreign yet genuine. Then we'll stand tall together. Okay? We show them our fight means something. She looked back at the crowd. Let us make our voices heard. If we stand together, we are unbreakable. Suddenly, a loud voice broke through the downpour. Mr. Thompson was calling for silence. Let us form a chain, a line of solidarity that sends a message. As people began to move, Ava joined them, excitement thrumming in her veins. Each hand grasped another, and a line of determined faces unfurled before her. Yet, as the line grew, a shadow appeared behind them, a police car heading toward the diner, blue lights flashing ominously. A wave of anxiety rippled through the crowd. Ava's heart sank. They're coming for us, she murmured, her resolve hardening. But then Mrs. Delaney, ever the beacon of hope, called out, let them come. We'll show them what true community looks like. Would their voices be enough to drown out the sirens approaching, or would the fear of authority take away their strength? As the police car came to a screeching halt, Ava felt the weight of her world balance on a precipice. What would happen next? The police officer stepped out of the cruiser, his expression serious and watchful. The rain poured around him, making the scene feel surreal, like a movie playing out in slow motion. Ava could feel the tension in the air, thick and palpable. She glanced down at Ethan, whose small hand trembled slightly in hers, reflecting the uncertainty swirling in her own heart. She squeezed it, whispering, no matter what happens, stay with me. The crowd, though drenched and shivering, held their ground. We're not going anywhere, someone shouted from the back, igniting a fire in the hearts of those around them. The officer approached, looking at Ava and the assembly with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. His eyes roamed over the lively faces, full of passion and hope, drawing energy from the camaraderie that swelled among them. All right, folks, the officer began, raising his hands in an attempt to calm the rising voices. What seems to be the issue here? Ava stepped forward, feeling the weighty responsibility resting on her shoulders. We're here to protect our diner, our home. We won't allow these developers to tear it down. Her voice was steady, yet there was a rawness to her sincerity that echoed in the hearts of everyone present. The officer nodded slowly but maintained a neutral expression. I understand your passion, but you need to know this is a public space. Please keep the peace, or we will have to disperse the crowd. As murmurs rippled through the group, Ava felt a mix of fear and defiance. She took a breath, the air wild with rain and electricity, filled with voices demanding to be heard. We're not breaking any laws by standing here, trying to save our community. A man near the front stepped up, waving the nearly full petition. Look, we have signatures, stories. This diner is our lifeline, it's where we built connections. His words sparked old memories, warmth flooding back as they reminded Ava of why they were standing together. The officer's gaze softened, meeting Ava's resolute stare. I can't promise anything, but if you're peaceful and respectful, I'll see what I can do. With that, he stepped back, signaling the patrol car's driver to remain as a presence without confrontation. A collective sigh of relief swept over the crowd. Ava felt the wave of hope wash over her, a realization that they weren't just individuals. They were a community. The rain continued drumming down, creating a symphony around them. Ethan tugged at her side. Mom, are we winning? His voice was hopeful yet cautious, and Ava smiled brightly down at him. Yes, buddy, we are. As long as we stand together, we're winning. Encouraged by that fierce resolve, Mr. Thompson took charge again. Let us share more stories. Let them hear your history, not just your words. He called forth voices from the crowd, guiding people to share their experiences, their lives intertwined with the diner. A woman stepped forward, her voice shaky yet determined. My grandmother used to bring me here every Sunday. After losing her, this diner is all I have left of her. A chorus of thank you enveloped her, affirmation pouring in from kindred spirits, recognizing the weight of those memories. As stories unfurled, Ava felt the spirit in the diner's heart strengthen and pulse with energy. Each tale proved louder than the storm, revealing the rich community woven through shared moments. Even as raindrops fell harder, hearts swelled with solidarity. The officer observed with growing empathy as more people spoke, sharing laughter cut through the gloomy weather, their spirits refusing to yield. The representative of the developers lingered outside the diner, his smug confidence waning as he witnessed the unity unfolding before him. Ava seized on what felt like a breakthrough moment. Let us ask for a meeting, right here, together. She urged the group, her voice rising in bold affirmation. Let us show them who we are. The heart of this town is worth more than any price. Cheers erupted as people rallied behind her call. Ethan beamed up at her, pride swelling in his little chest. She felt invincible, alongside her community, standing against the storm both outside and within. But as the storm began to subside into a gentle rain, Ava spotted the developer retreating, exchanging hurried whispers with his team. Anxiety flared anew, but a sense of resilience solidified her resolve. If they try to take this diner from us, we'll go further. We will fight to the end, she declared, inspiring a chorus of affirmations. As the last echoes of laughter and passionate voices floated into the rain-soaked sky, they stood firm together as a family, united by love, history, and unbreakable bonds. And in that moment, they understood the simple truth. They weren't fighting just for a building, but for a future deep-rooted in shared memories. Progress might strive to erase history, but Ava knew that the heart of Ohio would never rest until they claimed their spaces, their stories across generations. As they linked arms, looking out at the developer once more, she felt the courage surge through each of them like fresh hope. They would not be silenced. Today marked a new chapter in their story, a story that would echo through the walls of the diner for years to come. Their voices rose above the fading storm, ringing out with a clear message. Neither rain nor developers could extinguish the spirit of their community. The fight had just begun, and Ava's heart swelled with determination, ready to embrace whatever came next. If you believe in the power of community, subscribe immediately to our channel and don't miss the next exclusive stories that uplift and inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us spread these powerful messages. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending, and together, we can make sure this positive energy continues to ripple through. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us build this wave of support together. Don't wait not even one more second. Show your commitment to community today.